And now it even gets more comical. He's been listening to what people's been saying. He's been watching videos. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend. Well, you guys, man, Jason Whitlock is one of the biggest trolls that we have in the YouTube media space, man. The trolling and the hate that he has for Deion Sanders, man, don't go unnoticed. A lot of people always say, why are y'all giving Jason Whitlock this much energy? It ain't about what we giving Jason Whitlock. It ain't about the energy that we giving to Jason Whitlock. What we do as content creators, man, we try to expose the lies that people put out about certain players, certain athletes, certain coaches, and certain people in general. Now, Jason Whitlock has been on record. He's probably one of the biggest haters of Deion Sanders. He's probably one of the biggest critics of Deion Sanders outside of Danny Cannell, Paul Feinbaum. Now, what's happening now is Deion has took a program that he's inherited that was 1-11. His first year, he started off hot, and he turned out that season to go 4-8. But he jumped off to an unbelievable start at 3-0. And after the first game against TCU, a lot of people that was saying that Deion Sanders wasn't built for the job. After that game, after they beat TCU, at the post-game press conference, Deion had some questions for a lot of reporters. And Deion keeps receipts. So he asked one particular reporter,
"What now?
Do you believe now?
Now what?
Do you believe
What's up,
now?
boss? You believe now? You hold on.
And that's how Deion responded to him.
Do you believe now?"
But he finished the season off losing the last 7 and 8 games. Now, Jason Whitlock, that whole run, Jason Whitlock was really coming at Deion. He was really saying some outlandish things, went on record to say that, Deion wasn't a Christian, questioning his Christian beliefs, saying the way he's coaching the team is an all-out clown show, circus show. And what happened was Deion got wind of all that stuff. I know his PR team was telling him the rumblings that was out there on social media, because if you look at Deion's social media all last year, he was taking silent shots at people without mentioning names. Now you see what he did to Paul Feinbaum this year. He humbled Paul Feinbaum because Paul Feinbaum was talking all this smack about Deion, talking about the Colorado program was irrelevant. And Deion went on RG3 and his wife's podcast, and he basically say, if we so irrelevant, why are you talking about us? He said, a fan only blows when you're hot. So Paul Feinbaum has came to his senses and now has really humbled himself, and now he's giving respect to Deion Sanders. Now in the other case, Jason Whitlock is not bowing down. Jason Whitlock continues to troll, continues to spear hate, and continues to say negative things about Deion Sanders. Now see, all this hate toward Deion Sanders, and then he's talking about his football team. But the way that he's doing it is the hate that he has for Deion, it involves his football team. So over the weekend, I know Jason Whitlock was seeing all the videos made about him, his constant hate. We already know that Shannon Sharp exposed him and came out, and they started going back and forth. Now people are saying that, Jason Whitlock, you just a fool. I mean, you need to, humble yourself and just apologize. But he's not apologizing. So basically, Jason Whitlock took to his Fearless podcast, and this is what he had to say. Roll the footage.
I'm being inundated over the weekend with people suggesting I owe Deion Sanders an apology. The Buffaloes are now 8-2. They destroyed Utah 49-24, I believe, 49-25, something like that. They destroyed Utah. And I made the bet that if they finish, I predicted that they would lose 2 of their next 3 games Now that means that, or I would go to their bowl game dressed out in Deion gear and Colorado gear.
They don't want you nowhere
now,
around Whitlock.
They have to lose this week to Kansas, which I was counting on. I was counting on them losing to Utah and Kansas. But now they got to lose to Kansas and Oklahoma State at the end of the year. And Oklahoma State's been awful. Kansas hasn't been any good either, but they do have a quarterback who could cause them problems. Anyway, people are arguing that I owe Deion an apology, that I was wrong. And I am going to be transparent and say, I'm wrong, but I'm not apologizing. I don't owe Deion an apology. I'm wrong about what their record would be this year.
You don't owe nobody
I'm
an
wrong
apology.
about how much
You just need to humble yourself.
improvement they would show this year. And not just before the season, but after they lost to Nebraska, after they should have lost to Baylor, I was real
Coulda,
confident
shoulda, woulda.
that the wheels were going to fall off. And the wheels did not fall off. This team has improved throughout the course of the season, which I didn't expect a Deion Sanders coach team to improve over the course of the season.
Now you heard
I
what
was
he
wrong
said.
about that. I thought it would look a lot like
Deion
last year,
coach team.
where Deion's team did not get better over the course of the season. They actually got worse. Things got tougher. They began to crack last year. That is not the case this year. Hats off to Deion. Hats off to Colorado for that. They have more character as it relates to football competition and just grinding it out and the work of getting better than I gave them credit for.
Now, you guys heard what Jason Whitlock had to say in that soliloquy, man. And that basically, it was glaring to what he said. This ain't about Colorado football team. This is all about Deion Sanders. This is all about the hate that he has toward Deion Sanders. Because you heard what he said. I didn't expect the team to be any good led by a Deion Sanders. So that goes to show you a lot. And that goes to show you Jason Whitlock's character. And it's something deep that he has against Deion Sanders. Because if you remember back in the days when Deion Sanders was a Dallas Cowboy, Jason Whitlock had his pom-poms and cheering on Deion Sanders like it was no other. So I don't know what happened in between time. I don't know the history that Whitlock and Deion have. I don't even know if they crossed paths before. But I don't understand the constant hate that Jason Whitlock has for this one man. And you wishing his demise and his downfall. And every time that you turn on your podcast, you're always slandering Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. And like I said, it has nothing to do with the Colorado Buffaloes. It's all because of who the head coach is in Deion Sanders. Just because your career wasn't successful at Ball State and Deion went on to have a successful career in the NFL, and he's a Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl champion, and now he's a coach that's on the rise, and he got the college world looking in on him. He's taking the college world by storm, and it bothers you. So as long as you continue to spear this hate and foolishness of Deion Sanders, we're going to continue to expose you. We're going to continue to talk about you. But you guys let me know what y'all think down in the comments section on Jason Whitlock's latest comments. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.